Well, it's a pretty powerful message of two kinds. One is that they are very sensitive about any form of protest against drilling for oil and gas in the Arctic. And obviously that is Greenpeace's main mission, to protest. And they're now sending a strong message that we don't want any type of interference of this kind, and we are going to be ready to put into prison for lengthy terms anybody who tries to interfere. And I think that message is now being received loud and clear. The parallel message, which is more in the background, is that it's also a message to the West in general that we are not on very good terms anymore, and we don't like criticism against us. And there's been a long string now of cases of trouble between Russia and the West, the Pussy Riot case and homophobia laws and things like that. And the Kremlin is not taking that criticism very lightly. So this is also part of the game. So there's one background message and there's one specific message relating to Arctic oil and gas drilling. Oh, I think it does. Whether it's the purpose, I'm not sure, but it does really bring home to anybody who is planning to have, say, gay rights protests during the Olympics in Sochi next year. They should be prepared that any type of manifestations of the kind will be dealt with very harshly. And anybody who has been confronted by Russian OMON security forces will know that these are very serious people, and some very serious bad things can happen if you get in their way. So I think that is also part of the message, that we want a clean Olympics. We don't want any type of protests against our political system or the way we behave. And if there are protests of that kind, we're going to crack down very hard. Oh, it tells us a lot, and what it tells us is not very pretty at all. Russia's penal system is different in the sense that many of the people who are kept in Russian prisons in pre-trial detention in countries in the West would be out on bail. I mean, they are held often for fairly minor crimes and would be released by any normally functioning court in any Western country pending trial. But in Russia, they are kept under fairly horrible conditions, and they have absolutely no rights. And there has been a number of very serious cases, including the case of Sergei Magnitsky, the young lawyer who was actually, allegedly, we have to say, beaten to death while in pre-trial detention in a Russian prison. So I think the Greenpeace activists are now getting a lesson of a very sordid kind into how the Russian penal system works at its worst. Once people are convicted in a court and are sent to a prison or a camp somewhere, conditions improve. So the time they spend in the pre-trial detention is really the worst part of getting into conflict with the Russian legal system. And we must realize that very few people who end up in pre-trial detention will be acquitted by a court. The acquittal rate is a percent or even less. So following the horrors of pre-trial detention, you then have to look forward to a lengthy prison sentence. So maybe this will be one good part of the process against the Greenpeace activists, that some attention is being drawn to the conditions faced by tens and tens and tens of thousands of Russians who are kept under these circumstances. When and if the Greenpeace people and their journalist friends are released, they will be able to tell stories that the world really should hear about.